there. Happy Sunday afternoon. It's a bit grey and miserable. There was a storm last night, and yeah, it's feeling more wintry than autumn, I think, the last couple of days.
Welcome to another episode of Toby Stupid Vlog.
Anyhow, didn't film anything yesterday because we didn't do a lot yesterday. We've had a few days of not doing a lot. You might have noticed the end of last week. There's a few reasons for that. First and foremost, Kristal hasn't been too well. She's had a bit of kidney infection, so she's been at home. And I haven't had any work to do in central London, which has been a pleasant change. But it does mean that the week has rather got away from us, if we're honest. Done a few wedding planning bits, done a few Berlin-y bits. We might have to amend a few of those, which is what we need to have a talk about. So, let's get to the matter at hand. Last week's vlog was cut a bit short. The reason being is I was at work on Tuesday, and I think I had a board meeting as well, and then there wasn't much Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I got a call from my mum on Wednesday. My parents are up in the Lake District to say that my dad was in hospital because he'd had a stroke on that evening, that night, early morning. He's all right. He is quite numb down his right hand side, but it hasn't affected his speech or his brain in any other sense that they can tell after lots of tests. They're supposed to be coming back today. He was only in hospital for 24 hours, which meant obviously they were delayed coming home. So I'll find out more when they actually get back home at the moment. But it kind of rather changed the mood and the pace of the week, as you might imagine. And Kristal had a kidney infection at the same time. They say these things come in threes. I'm going to say the third one was the fat, misogynist racist who's president-elect of the United States, and then we'll round that off and we'll move on. Hi there. This is, as you might imagine, Shepherd's Bush Market Station. The only reason I ever come here, the only reason anyone ever comes here is to go to Westfield, which is where I've just been because the battery has been misbehaving, so I've got it replaced. Nice sky behind me, that's impressive. Yeah, unfortunately, that's meant I've been here for 2 hours, which is not the greatest use of time ever. Nonetheless, it's working now, so I should be grateful. I did all my chores this morning. I went into Twickenham, I went into Richmond, but I didn't film any of it because I was consciously aware that if I went into the Apple store and hadn't backed up those videos, I'd lose them anyway. So anyway, we're back in business. Good afternoon. How are you doing today? I hope your answer is not much better, thank you, because the world isn't any better than it was last week or 2 weeks ago for that matter. And if you're feeling better, that just means that you've come to terms with it. And that's frankly terrible. I mean, the place that we are right now is not something you should be coming to terms with. It's something you should be fighting against. So this will be my weekly reminder that you need to do something to change the world in which you live. If you want it to be better and more tolerant, you need to join an organisation, become part of a movement, and put something positive back into the world. You need to become the change you wish to see in the world, to borrow much better people than mine's quotes. So there we go. That's today's call to action over with. I hope you take it seriously. You won't regret doing this. Welcome to Richmond, down by the river. It's pretty quiet because it's kind of lunchtime. Even the seagulls are chilled. I'm walking to Twickenham because today myself and Kristal need to give notice, which is a frankly archaic institution where you have to pay someone to register the fact that you're going to get married, then pay them again to conduct the ceremony. But there we go. So that's what's happening. You get interviewed and they just check that you're who you say you are and you're doing what you say you're going to do. I apologise for not vlogging much in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Since the election, it's basically been election rants and not much else. And the reason being is because I'm just slowly coming to terms with the world that I live in. I'm trying to find a way to best combat it. Look at this. That's where we'll be in about 10 days time. So that's exciting. I'll take that as a sign. So the first bit of combating is to make sure that Zach Goldsmith is not elected as the MP for Richmond Park. And then, regardless of how that goes, and then need another plan to help actually shape this environment into a place that I want people to live in. So there's been a lot of thinking and planning and not a lot of out walking and relaxing. So that's why I decided to walk to Twickenham this afternoon. As well as that, I was back home in Rickmansworth yesterday to visit my parents, to see my dad, who's doing all right. I interrupt this message for an important announcement. Owl. He's just having to learn a few bits of sort of fine motor skill again on his right hand, because he's lost a bit of feeling there. So that's a bit of a challenge, but all things considered, got off quite light, to be honest. So yeah, somewhat of a relief. You never really know with these things. I mean, I don't know a lot about strokes generally, although I've done a lot of reading recently, but it doesn't seem to have a huge bearing on your physical fitness. It doesn't seem to be a big factor. You can be incredibly fit and still have a stroke, so it's a little worrying, but also there's only very few things you can really do about it. So there we go. I'm taking the long way because otherwise I'm going to be there really early, and it's not really warm enough to stand outside and admire the view. So I'm just going past some of the bits of East Twickenham I don't really know. This estate, this new estate here, there used to be an ice rink there, I'm assured, a very, very long time ago, before that estate was built. And the estate actually overlooks the Thames, so it's an amazing setting. And on the other side is Richmond Hill, on the other side of the Thames, that is. So, very nice. I don't know these roads at all. I do know that, given the opportunity, some people choose to paint their houses ridiculous colours. So those are the old mansion blocks, and these are the new ones we're just looking at. Right on the Thames here, and up there is Richmond Hill behind the boat houses and newer flats. And this is some part of the Thames path that I'm sure I've shown you at some point in the past, because I've walked all of it many times. It's quite precarious at the moment because I had to take my iPhone case off in order for them to repair the phone and put a new battery in, and the case broke at that point, and I've got another one that's going to be with me in a very short amount of time, and in the meantime I'm holding it like it's the most fragile thing on earth, because quite possibly it is. I'm trying to decide whether to do Vlogmas this year. I did it 2 years ago, if you remember. A vlog every day in December, very simply. It will contain owls if I do it. That's traditional. And I don't know, I'm coming round to the idea, but I've been so terrible at uploading vlogs recently. Like, am I really going to be able to do one a day? Especially when we're in Berlin between the 3rd and the 7th. I'm undecided. I have a week to make up my mind. I'll think about it. If I put this up in good time, let me know whether you think it's a good idea. There's a fair chance that I won't, unfortunately. But I suppose I have to get up before the 1st if I'm going to do it. I don't know. Yeah. I'll come back to you. What the hell is that massive place behind those massive gates? All of these places. I guess these are 1930s style, I don't know, mansion blocks. Flats, possibly. Very curious, I've never seen anything like it. And then there's a fair bit of sort of 60s housing and whatnot on this side. I just don't know this part of Twickenham at all. It's quite fun to wander around and nose through people's windows. Yeah, Cambridge Park Court. Anyone know anything? Let me know. I'm going to continue this way as slowly as possible so I don't arrive too early. I really needed this walk. I didn't realise it until I started walking. I love things like this where you've got a bit of time and you see things and you want to know more about them. And they might seem trivial to some people, and they are trivial largely. Like I just saw a tree back there and I didn't recognise the bark at all. It looked really weird. I'd love to know what kind of tree it is. And saw a house back there, very old Victorian sort of townhouse, and it had an extension, and the extension was rendered and the rest of the house wasn't, and the extension was rendered and painted green, and the extension was not much newer than the rest of the house. I bet you someone knows why it's painted green. That would be fascinating to me. Doesn't mean I remember it, just in that moment in time it'd be nice to know. Anyway, I'm coming towards Orleans Park and the work that's going on around here, and then frankly I'm there. So this is my destination. This is York House, which is the Richmond Council building. It's quite impressive. It's very impressive, in fact. Nearly as impressive as gardens, which have, as you can see, a bridge at the end, and they carry on down to the riverside and all the way along there. So that bridge takes you over the road from the gardens into this bit at the back to the riverside, so you don't have to actually mingle with any of the plebeians. You can come straight to the riverside in safety, and then you're right on the waterfront. So if you come down the river a little bit and then you turn in here, you might see one of the most understated fountains you've ever seen. All you have to think is, you know, Greek sea nymphs and Italian marble. Pretty subtle, isn't it? Yep. So we've given notice. That was very formal and actually very straightforward, and we've been out for dinner and now I've got to go to a board meeting. So a strange order of events today. If you're ever curious about what you have to do when you give notice, it's essentially so that the borough knows that you're going to be married, and they give you, essentially, I suppose you can consider it sort of a provisional wedding license in a way. They then advertise the fact that you're getting married, so anyone who wants to know can know, and they check you are who you say you are, and that you're not related to one another and you're not already married to somebody else. So pretty basic stuff like that. And then they charge you £35 each. So that's nice of them. Thank you for watching this week's vlog. What you've missed, the classic trying to go out on a Friday night and filming in the dark with an iPhone, it doesn't work. But I went out with Vino to have a catch up, and we had a lot of Mai Tais and some fried chicken, and it was very good and very funny. And I got massive kudos from the French wait staff for my awesome promotional Daft Punk jumper that I've had for about 10 years. Yeah, because, you know, Daft Punk equals awesome. And yeah, it was a great night, and I'm feeling a little worse for wear. It's technically Saturday morning that I'm recording this. It's a bit of a lie, a bit of a cheat. That's why it's light out. But thank you for watching. I very much appreciate it. I hope you'll join me next week. Next week will either be the last week of vlogs before Vlogmas, or it will be a lot of Kenilworth, or both. So apologies in advance, but I hope you'll join me then. Thanks.
Toby Stupid Vlog.